Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County Forum for candidates for South County Regional Fire Authority Commissioner for Districts 1 and 5. I'm Wendy Colbert, a member of the League. Thank you for joining us. Let me provide some background on the position. Fire district commissioners establish and maintain policy for the district, manage and conduct the business affairs of the district, make and execute all necessary contracts, employ any necessary services, perform all acts necessary to carry out the goals and mission of the fire district, employ a fire chief, and serve on one or more committees which deal with specific functions of the fire department. Candidates do not declare a political party preference. Candidates for South County Regional Fire Authority Commissioner for District 1 are Harmony Crawford and Joseph Wankelman. Candidates for South County Regional Fire Authority Commissioner for District 5 are Jim Kenny and Zoe Pilgrim Placey, who is not joining us today. It is the policy of the League to be nonpartisan. Therefore, we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or parties. The rules for participation in this forum were sent ahead of time to all candidates, and they have all agreed to follow them. I will pose the questions and will clearly state the amount of time allowed for each answer. We are using a countdown timer, which is visible to all candidates, and time limits on answers will be strictly enforced. The order for responses to the first question will be Harmony Crawford, then Joseph Wankelman, then Jim Kenny. I will then alternate candidates in the starting position to ensure a fair sequence. Let's begin. Candidates will have 90 seconds to respond to this first question. Candidate Crawford, your question is, what are your top priorities for this office? Please explain why you are focusing on these priorities.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wendy. I think really the top priority for me is around communication with communities. I often find in my conversations, many don't understand so much of the context of firefighters in the day-to-day, nor do they really understand sometimes what a commissioner does. Many conversations that I've had have been around explaining what a fire commissioner does, some of them asking, am I qualified because I've not been a firefighter? And so then having opportunity to explain to them a little bit about what the differences are and what a day in the life in the firefighter looks like. So I think that there's a real need and an opportunity for communicating to communities kind of the full breadth and depth of services and the response functions that are supported by South County Fire. In part, I think maybe some families are blessed to not have to call 911, but for those who have had to call on the services, response times, safety of our first responders, ability to coordinate with emergency services in the area are all potential tension and friction points that need support, planning, strategy, budgeting support. And that's really where the fire commissioner role comes in to sort of help communicate what the dependencies are, what the needs are, and then support on strategy and planning and follow through on fulfilling those needs.
Thank you. Same question, candidate Wankelman.
Thank you so much. My top priority also is communication with both within the ranks of the organization, but also with community, ensuring that we are being fair, open, and transparent with what we're making our decisions, the data we're making our decisions on. Another one is mental health to ensure that we are providing the necessary services. Our first responders are often exposed to a lot of very challenging situations, and making sure that they have adequate support for the things that they're taking home so that it doesn't affect their family, it doesn't affect the community, and they're able to be able to complete their mission set in the most healthy and supported way possible. My third is the community response paramedic program. I've been working in the homelessness and addiction, really understanding the challenges within that, really listening to the stories of those resource providers, also those struggling with being unsheltered, and hearing how the CRP program is really having an extensive impact within our community. I want to stand up and very much support and become a speaker, an advocate for how they are influencing our community by reducing the cost of burden with having unnecessary resources respond to the situation while also reducing the burden of stress on our first responders. And so those are the three main topics that I prioritize.
Thank you. Candidate Kenny, your response.
Good evening. My at least top three priorities are reduce response times, the intersection of public health and EMS, and building and renovating fire stations. I've been on the South County Fire Board of Commissioners since 2003, so about 22 years. I've been chair of the board for more than 10 years. I'm currently chair of the board. I work on developing the agenda for the board as we face the challenges of the future. Reducing response times is number one because that provides the direct service for acute care to everybody that calls 911. We are kind of your insurance policy for when things go bad, and you never know when things are going to go bad, and you want us there fast. We need to be there fast. The intersection of public health and EMS, we have our community response paramedics that have been a real boon for us over the last 10 years, helping frequent callers to 911 address their issues. But we have just accepted a $2.3 million 3-year grant last night with the state to develop a community-based crisis team for behavioral health responses, which is really key. And then building and renovating fire stations. We have 15 fire stations, many of them very old from the 1970s. They need to be renovated and replaced. That is a huge lift. It's going to take the community in the next 10 years to help us with that. That's one of our big issues on the in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidates will have 90 seconds for the next question. Candidate Wankelman, what qualifications and experience make you a good choice to address these priorities?
Thank you for that. As an Army aviation officer, a business strategist, a data analyst, I've had to prove myself in a lot of crisis situations. I've had to find what the gaps are happening in the ecosystem. And it's given me a unique background to really understand the challenges, both that are happening within the front lines due to my military experience, understanding the struggles that people are responding to these type of challenging situations go through, understanding the words that they're using because I worked in an environment very similar. But also recognizing the unique stress that these type of burdens within our community have on community, and recognizing that communication is the key to being able to articulate and help bring the community into the solution where we're all working together in a collaborative form that is taking care of the challenges that we're facing and experiencing in today, but also what we could be facing tomorrow using data analytics, using forward thinking and forecasting with what we need. Because a common statement I have is that we need to really start looking at innovation and not focusing so much on taxation, because the burden of taxation is causing some significant challenges within the elderly population and the vulnerable population of our community.
Thank you. Same question, candidate Kenny.
Well, I think I've got a lot of experience that is very valuable to the community. I am the most senior tenured member of the board with 22 years of experience. I've led the board as chair for many years and currently lead the board. I've been involved in fire service activities as a commissioner with the Snow Isle Fire Commissioners, where I'm the treasurer. I've previously served on the Washington State Fire Commissioners Association board for the state. So I'm tied in with a lot of fire commissioner issues. I think that I've seen the South County Fire develop from Fire District 1 and 6 stations to South County Fire with 15 stations. We have about 340 uniformed personnel. We have a budget to over $100 million. We're one of the 5 largest fire departments in the state. We have 64 or 67, depending on day or night, firefighters on duty serving you. And so there's a lot of responsibility there at the board to make good decisions, policies and decisions going forward. Part of that is a historical knowledge of where we've been, which I can bring to the table to assist the community in helping to make these decisions. While we have very experienced experts who are fire chiefs at various levels and consultants that assist us, nothing beats some experience on where we've been and where we want to go to help facilitate that and kind of avoid repeating mistakes of the past to try and make the efficient use of our dollars and resources going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Crawford, your answer, please.
Thank you. Yeah, so I've lived in Briar since 2008, and I've been in multiple positions that required leadership under times of growth and times of um, having to pare back. I spent 13 years at the Seattle Times, which was a union environment as well, and sort of traversing the landscape of prioritization, using data models to predict where we're going, negotiating with unions on making sure that we were supporting personnel, growing talent, connecting effectively with the community, both as the product of the Seattle Times, but also in sort of day-to-day and volunteer activities, both my time in the Seattle Times, but then also in personal volunteer activities. So I think my ability to sort of recognize the needs for business strategy, also bringing history in data and analytics, technology, data storytelling, kind of digging in to really understand what trends are and being able to apply to both other candidates' perspective, where have we been to inform where are we going. I think I have always led with a people first approach, and that applies to both, whether it's the firefighters and the union, but also within communities and that connection.
Thank you. Timer, please note that candidates will have 60 seconds for these next questions. Please adjust the clock. Candidate Kenny, you are first on the next question. As a commissioner, would you suggest ways to improve outreach to better inform residents about fire safety for the home, businesses, and our natural environment? Why or why not?
Oh, well, of course, public education, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So part of our job is providing public education to people in the community, from juvenile fire starter classes to education for people at home on issues like kitchen fires, open flames and candles. Battery fires is a big issue with batteries, and falls for older folks in homes. So we have 3 to 4 full-time employees that do nothing but public education. So it's a big part of what we do, trying to reach as many people as possible, because our emergency responses are just acute responses when there's already a problem. Well, we really want to address the issue of preventing those problems so you don't have to call us. And that is a valuable use of our resources and really helps the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Crawford, your response, please. And you're muted, Candidate Crawford.
We knew there would be one of us, right? Yeah, I think there's actually a lot of really good outreach that is happening already that I see the South County firefighters and first responders putting on and connecting with the community. I think there's a real opportunity to publicize and market those opportunities more so. Until I recently started becoming more engaged myself, I was unaware of so many of the outreach programs that already exist. So while I think there might be opportunity to build in more of the curriculum and outreach activities, I think there's also a need and an opportunity to do more marketing and more sort of perspective and communications around what does exist already as well. And the team is putting together some great content, and I think there's a lot that could be had by just making that more readily available to all of the communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Wankelman, your answer, please.
Yeah, thank you for this. I think education is always so important. It's critical to continue the conversation with community in different ways, both through formal academics, but also through conversations, while helping them understand what is available. Non-emergency 911 calls absolutely burden our system, and we are responding to them at a high rate. And being able to really start to bring focus onto the community response paramedic program that are responding to the non-emergency 911s, like falls and different challenges that individuals go through, from not feeling well, prescription challenges. I find that it is critical to start really bringing that to the community and showing different ways that that South County is helping community other than just the response to fire or emergencies. And so those are the type of educational programs that I would be focusing on.
Thank you. You'll start us off on this next question, candidate Crawford. Do you anticipate an increased or decreased risk of fires? Please explain. How would you mitigate that risk?
Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, I do. I think in part because of increased population density. So the more people we start pushing into urban areas, the more mishaps or accidents are prone to happen. In addition, as other candidates have talked about, we have the non-fire related responses, which I anticipate also increasing within the South County area. So I do think that we need to be planning for increased demand, the increase in education and preventative measures that can be taken. And again, back to the communications and marketing around what can be done to try to prevent, I think is going to come back a lot to the education and the communication and the connection with communities. And I think there's a lot being done also in terms of like planning proactively how we'll respond to some of those calls. So, yeah, unfortunately, I do think there'll be an increase and we have to plan accordingly.
Thank you. Candidate Wonkum, in your response.
And I would have to agree. With the increase of population comes increased risk. And with my analytical background, it compels me to follow that evidence with the multi-risk factors that seem to be converging. Climate data is showing longer dry seasons. We're having increased temperatures and more frequent extreme weather events in the Pacific Northwest, along with the urban growth patterns. And so we need to be prepared. You know, we aren't able to fully understand what the future has, but by being ready for it, using GIS and statistical modeling, I would really think that there's a good way to create a comprehensive risk assessment and risk mapping that both indicate fires while also indicating the challenges in emergency services with the risk of different factors that do move through our community. And so it's critical in building a data set that we are able to really start to utilize to get a full comprehensive picture of the changes that are happening in our community.
Thank you. Candidate Kenny, your answer, please.
Yes, neither. Fire risk is not going up other than environmentally, maybe a little as it gets drier with brush fires, that type of thing. But really, fires is not our issue. We are the regional fire authority, and we have big fire trucks, and we talk about fires. But really, the secret of the fire service is that we are an EMS agency that does fire on the side, not a fire agency that does EMS on the side. 84% of our responses are EMS, ALS, and BLS. That's where the action is. That's where the money is. That's where the response need is. And while we have big fire trucks to fight fires, and we need to stay trained to do that, and there is always a risk, and as density increases, there will be more risk, some more risk. Fire sprinklers make a huge difference in commercial and multifamily structures to reduce the risk of fire. So really, I don't see neither increase or decrease. The action is in the EMS.
Thank you. Candidate Wonkelman, your question is, would you help to ensure that the district's firefighters and emergency medical personnel reflect the diversity of the community the district serves? Why or why not?
Absolutely. I have a quote that the way we define our words defines our reality. And it's through diversity that we're able to bring a full, comprehensive expression to those that we are helping. Because we don't all define our words in the same ways based on our backgrounds, based on our culture, based on different aspects. And it's critical that we have a comprehensive, well-represented workforce within our community so that we can reach those that have different challenges, different vulnerabilities, come from different backgrounds. And so it's important that we have a force that is serving the community that represents the community. And so I would be completely and totally for having a diverse response team that is able to reach those in the crisis that they're experiencing. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, candidate Kenny.
Yes, definitely want to diversify the fire service. The fire service is very male dominated and has been traditionally. It also is there is a big sense of family in the fire service, which I'm not from the fire service, but that has good sides and potentially not as good sides. That those jobs can be handed down from parent to child, and I think those are great family wage jobs that should be available to everybody. We need to have a community representation so that we can reach out to all parts of our community and provide service. Language, culture, those all make a difference in people being willing to call 911 to get service. And we want to encourage that with the diversity of our workforce. We want more women in the fire service. We have a women in fire service like weekend academy to help facilitate that because we need to find more women for the fire service. So diversity in many different ways, super important.
Thank you. Candidate Crawford, your answer, please.
Yeah, thank you. So, absolutely an advocate for diversity and equity and inclusion within any space, whether it's within the firefighters, the EMS, the responders, the Board of Commissioners. I think ultimately, in my role as commissioner, it would be around supporting and influencing policies around recruiting, training, and support for the employment of diverse candidates. But I think ultimately some of those hiring decisions would come down to fire chiefs and those hiring for the teams and ensuring that candidates are meeting the necessary qualifications. But of course, I think representation matters and absolutely is critical in both like recruiting and some of that community outreach stuff when kids can look up and see themselves as future firefighters and first responders, that matters. So that would absolutely be important.
Thank you. Candidate Kenny, in your view, should all firefighters also be certified emergency medical technicians and/or paramedics? Please explain.
Well, they already are. All firefighters that have firefighter one certification are EMTs. So that is a baseline for all firefighters in the state of Washington. The issue there is whether they should be paramedics. No, paramedics are a much higher level of training. It takes about a year of college education, special training as a paramedic to do that. Very expensive. So we need paramedics, but not all firefighters can be paramedics. And so South County Fire has a practice of trying to have neighborhood-based paramedics, one in each fire station to bring a paramedic as close as possible to you to help with heart attacks, strokes, things that impair your airway, those and pushing of medications in the field. Those are the things that paramedics can really do. It's their ability to push the medications that makes a difference. But the EMTs are very important. They're the first on scene usually before the paramedics and make a real difference. So thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Crawford, your response.
Can I just say, see also what Jim Kenny said? I mean, I think firefighters and first responders are doing an amazing job, right? And I think that there are nuances to each of the roles and how they show up and balancing the demands of training and expertise for every potential call, I think requires a strategy and doing some of the analysis on what communities are needing, why they're calling the most, and making sure that the resources are available when those kinds of calls come in is part of what fire commissioners are supporting and ensuring then that the firefighters have the training and the staffing to fulfill those needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Wonkelman, your answer, please.
I second what the other candidates have said and believe that we need to have specialization within the force. Paramedics need to focus on the trait of being a paramedic so that they can respond in the most impactful and strategic and knowledgeable way as possible. When we start to generalize positions, we start to run into, some are good here, some are good there, and we don't know exactly what is going to be responding. Obviously, they will always be at the highest and most professional level, but when I'm having a fire, I want those who are experts in fighting a fire to respond. While if I'm having, a heart attack or some medical issue, I want the paramedics who have gone through the training, who have understand the challenges of that can respond in an adequate way to best help reduce the challenges of the crisis within the ecosystem. And so I do think that we should keep specialized training and have a person focus on their direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Crawford, you are first on the next question. What are your views on a county-wide fireworks ban?
Oh, this is such a heated topic. From a personal level, I support a ban. I think the trauma that I see others near to me, as well as my own pack of dogs responding to fireworks, not to mention house fires, lawn fires that come sometimes with fireworks, the safety concerns. On a personal level, I think a ban is appropriate. Ultimately, I think it's up to voters. So that requires communicating the pros and cons of the situation and inviting voters to weigh in, and then supporting the decision of the voters in the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Candidate Wankelman.
Yeah, agreed sentiment. This is a very hard one, and ultimately it comes to the voters. Their decision is what needs to be articulated in this. For me, having spent over 10% of my life in a combat zone, understanding the challenges that fireworks bring to the veteran population, because it does bring a lot of unwanted memories to those who have experienced challenging times within that ecosystem. I can definitely recognize and support on a personal level, but I just completely agree that we need to allow the voters to express their opinion on that and recognize the challenges that different communities, different segmentations within our community experience. And so let's have a conversation.
Thank you. Candidate Kenny, your response.
Well, I agree that the voters in the end could have the final say, but the question is who's going to advocate for it? Because if you just sit back and you're a neutral, nothing's going to happen. So South County Fire has been advocating for a fireworks ban for decades, and I've been helping for years. We've actually had some success. Rural communities don't want to ban fireworks, but the urban growth area in Southwest Washington or Southwest County, which is South County Fire area, there was a vote, advisory vote a few years ago, supported it, and the county did ban the sale of fireworks in that area, not the possession of fireworks. And so that is huge. We've been pursuing that for years. If either the county council or the people of the county wanted to do a fireworks ban, I would support that. I think the fire service supports it. It's a life safety issue. Stop blowing off your hands. Stop creating fires. Leave it to the professionals. Go to a professional fireworks display.
Thank you. Candidate Wankelman, you'll have 90 seconds to respond to the following question. Timer, please reset the clock. What is a strategy which could be used to enhance collaboration in your work as commissioner? Give an example of how you have used this strategy.
Key to this strategy is bringing everybody in the room and having a conversation. I've been doing that with the CRP. I've been doing that with different resources that are dealing with homelessness and addiction. Next week, I'm holding a think tank that's bringing in leaders and individuals, resource providers, medic providers, trauma informed care into a conversation to really start talking about the challenges of policy, what policies are binding up, the ability to help those who are struggling achieve the care that they need. And South County Fire's leadership will be in that conversation. Today, I spent a large portion of my time over at Station 15, hearing stories, really collecting interviews and understanding the challenges and the breakdown and gaps between communication systems. We have 130 different softwares that are collecting different fragmented data throughout this ecosystem that are not communicating with each other. Just in our CRP program, we have 6 different softwares that we're having to look at to find information about an individual that we're helping, and we don't have any background, and it's a very challenged ecosystem. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to talk about where we're not succeeding. Where are we people falling through the gaps in this ecosystem? And then it's bringing in a collaborative mindset where we're looking at innovative technology to start improving the communication process.
Thank you. Same question, Candidate Kenny.
Well, as chair of the board, I try and engender collaboration at the board to move things forward. wearing my chair's hat. I try to let other commissioners speak first. I try to make sure that commissioners that want issues on the agenda, get them on the agenda, not necessarily at the very next meeting, but at a meeting close in time, so that we can, doesn't mean they necessarily win on a vote, but that they get the opportunity to present their issues so we can move the work of the board forward throughout the year. I'm also, due to my experience, very familiar with what it takes on the calendar to get things done. We're approaching the annual biggest season for the South County Fire Board, and that's budget season. We're in it right now, leading forward to the third meeting of November when we traditionally pass the budget. So I have a sense of what it takes throughout the year to keep the board moving forward. And I try to make sure that it's kind of like herding the cats, because I'm not like the dictator of the board or something. All I can do is kind of try and push everybody forward to try and make the group better. And also work with the chiefs to make sure that try and make that happen, because the chiefs have various issues they want to bring forward at different times, to try and make sure that collectively we are addressing the issues, that we are moving forward on them if we can. It doesn't mean that everything's successful, that everything gets a yes vote, but that the important issues are reviewed, and we keep moving forward on finding the best, a good path forward for the South County Fire.
Thank you. Candidate Crawford, your response, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of it really does come back to that community connection and communication and transparency. So anytime that there are decisions or questions that are being addressed, making sure that every city council is aware of the timing, the when and the where and the what that's being considered, invitation to participate in the conversations, but also outbound outreach and connection to those key contacts and to community members. So when there are local newspapers or publications, making sure that there's relevant content and information available. And then similarly, like inviting those open conversations. So making sure that communities are aware of agenda items that are coming up, maybe on the Board of Commissioners conversations that are happening. Again, going back to maybe to city council or community events, making sure that there's a presence. I know South County Fire shows up to a lot of the Briar events, and I think their presence is known. More context around like what it means that they're there representing and what issues are they facing or concerns are being addressed, and inviting communities to participate in those conversations more. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Kenny, you'll start us off on the final question, which you'll have 60 seconds to respond to. And it is this: please tell us something about your life experience that might surprise or intrigue voters.
I would say that I work as a prosecutor, and so I have been surprised. I do this to give back to the community, and I have for years. I enjoy it very much. There's always something new and interesting going on, but I have been surprised how many of my professional skills as a prosecutor I have put to use on the board in various ways. It's so interesting. There's a real intersection at the board of policy, of legal issues, of high-level HR issues, of intergovernmental issues related to legal things. That was surprising to me joining the board, but I've been able to use those skills from another sector of my life for the benefit of the fire authority, and that's just been really interesting to me. But I do bring those skills to the table. I'm not the counsel for or the attorney for South County Fire. We have a separate general counsel, but sometimes it's helpful to have those legal skills to have a sense of whether you're getting the straight answer or not.
Thank you. Same question, Candidate Crawford.
Yeah, thank you. I think there might be a little bit of theme about where these skills and experience come to play in sort of unique ways, but oftentimes around that connection with community. So I had an opportunity to become certified as a death midwife a few years ago, and that is like a death doula, helping to support families and loved ones during end of life journey and that transition. And that is a sacred and sometimes complicated, but powerful reality that all of us face. And it really helps me come to any conversation and perspective with compassion, understanding that every journey is unique, and sort of that personal accountability and respect and awe for the individuality of all humankind, really.
Thank you. Candidate Wankelman, your response.
Yeah, kind of going into my background, I've had the opportunity to work at the Joint Chiefs of Staff level for the military, down at the tactical level of being an infantry platoon sergeant, then at the operational level as an Apache pilot. So I've been able to see how different organizations that are mission focused operate at the strategic, the tactical, and the operational levels, and the challenge of communication within that, and the breakdown of communication in that. And so it's really critical to be able to understand that with this organization, because I'm seeing it from the conversation I'm having at all ranks with the chiefs, with the commissioners, and then with also those on the ground. And so being able to understand that is critical, and being able to bridge that is necessary both for the community, but also for the RFA. And, I come with a trauma understanding. I've been studying trauma for the last 10 years and how it impacts our community and how it's impacting those that we love most. And so that's what I'm bringing to this.
Thank you. The League thanks these candidates for joining us and for running for office. We encourage our audience to explore additional information about these and all candidates. Recordings of all League forums, those recorded for the primary and the general elections, are available on the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County website, on YouTube, and on podcast channels. Find links at lwvsnoho.org. If you prefer written responses, vote411.org, sponsored by the League, is another good source of information. Ballots and your Snohomish County voters pamphlet will be mailed starting October 17th. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. Please be a voter. Thank you to our League Candidate Forum team and the Candidate Forum Coalition. Special thanks to Dave Moon and the Sultan High School students at TurkPride.tv who made this production possible. And of course, thank you all for joining us. This concludes our Candidate Forum.